Hi guys, my name is Volker and I love to make beautiful imperfect things. Today I'm going to show you how to do a bind-off that matches your two-color tubular cast-on in double knitting. With this technique your cast-on looks exactly like your bind-off. If you want to have a look at my other patterns, click on the link here or in the description below and head over to my Ravelry page. And don't forget to like this video if you find it helpful, or let me know if you don't. So let's start with the bind-off. Apart from your project, obviously, you need a tapestry needle, you need a pair of scissors, and you need two double-pointed needles, ideally a bit smaller than the ones you're using for your project, but it doesn't really matter, you can take the same size as well. So here I have some swatch that I've been playing around with, and it's time for the bind-off. And the bind-off consists of two rows. So the first row is an ordinary row with all the knit stitches in the grey color and all the purl stitches in the blue color. So one ordinary row, one ordinary selvage edge, and then one row of grey knit stitches and blue purl stitches. And at the end of the row, it just goes on one ordinary row with an ordinary selvage edge. Now I've turned my work and it's time for row 2. And in row 2 the actual bind-off happens. So the first half of row 2 is one row of just blue knit stitches. And before I do that, I anchor my blue yarn one last time. You see, like this. So here's my knit stitch. The grey yarn is anchored there. I knit it and then I slip all the grey stitches with the blue yarn in front, so that the blue yarn is facing towards us for the entire row. And at the end of the row there's no selvage edge, just an ordinary knit stitch even into the last stitch. So before I work the second half of the second row, I have to divide all the knit and purl stitches. So what I do is I slip all the stitches to the other end of my needle and I pick up my other double pointed needles. And then I slip all knit stitches on one of the double pointed needles and all purl stitches on the other. So knit, purl, knit, purl. Now all the blue knit stitches are on one needle and all the grey purl stitches are on the other. I slip all the stitches back here, and now it's time for the second half of the second row worked with the grey yarn. In order to do that I cut my grey yarn, leaving a long tail, because now we are going to work with Kitchener stitch. And the blue yarn you can just cut, leaving a tail to weave in the ends later. So here I have the grey yarn on my tapestry needle and it's time for Kitchener stitch. There's no setup, just to repeat, I start here in the blue stitch, through knitwise, off and through purlwise. Taking care always to leave the thread underneath the needles. On the back needle it goes like this, through purlwise, off and through knitwise. Be careful to avoid things like this, but see to that the thread always comes directly underneath your needles. Through knitwise, off, through purlwise. through purlwise, off through knitwise. And make sure to always give it a bit of a tug here so that you get just the right amount of tension in your bind off. And you continue with that until the very last stitch. No differences here. And then you just pull out your needles. Now you can tidy up your stitches a bit if you want to. Just putting your needle in here, give it a little bit of a tug. And you see that your bind off rolls around exactly like your cast on. That's all for today, guys. Take care and good luck with your project.